Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming today. It's an absolutely gorgeous day. My name is Christy True. I'm the director of King County's Department of Natural Resources and Parks. And this is our bonus day this year. It's leap year. And so I think it's important to establish traditions on leap year. And so this is a really important milestone announcement for our trail on the Eastside Rail Corridor. And we were speculating when we would be able to get up on the trestle. And I say, let's make sure it's no later than the next leap year. So would you join me in pledging to make that happen? All right, thank you. Well, it's my pleasure to introduce King County Executive Dow Constantine.
Well, thank you, Christy. I am thrilled to be out here today to participate in kicking off the review of our draft master plan. You know, I see in the audience some folks who've been really big in this arena for a long time, and they may be introduced later, but I just want to make sure I recognize former State Senator Bill Finkbeiner is here in the audience today, right there. Okay, I'll let you introduce more folks. And also I saw former King County Council member and long time advocate for the King County trail system and the environment generally, Larry Phillips. So it's inspiring to stand here and look at this magnificent Wilburton trestle. It is the most iconic landmark in this corridor. In many ways, it's the symbol of the Eastside Rail Corridor. It was built more than a century ago. It spans more than 1,000 feet. It is 100 feet high off the ground. And this remarkable structure should encourage us to think big. Think big about how we can use the Eastside Rail Corridor to benefit the people of King County for the next century. Today we're marking the next important step toward realizing a shared vision for this corridor. With many regional partners, we will transform the Eastside Rail Corridor from an abandoned strip of land into a re-energized multi-use corridor that connects and catalyzes our growing East and South King County communities. Today, we release the draft Eastside Rail Corridor Trail Master Plan and the environmental impact statement for public review. Now, over the past decade, the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to preserve this corridor has brought together leaders from across our region, from King County, from the Port of Seattle, from Redmond, from Kirkland, from Sound Transit, and the private sector, like Puget Sound Energy. And with the release of this document and the beginning of the comment period, we're asking the public to help guide the future of this important corridor. The draft plan presents and evaluates alternatives for how King County will implement the long-term regional trail in our ownership area of the Eastside Rail Corridor. It provides the first visualizations of two alternative scenarios, two alternative trail alignments on more than 16 miles of the corridor between Renton and Woodinville along the main line and between Renton and Woodinville, Redmond and Woodinville on the corridor's Sammamish Valley spur. And it illustrates the unique opportunity we have to create a public asset that is not only great for us, but is a national model for how multi-use corridors can support vibrant communities. This historic trestle, the Wilburton Trestle, will soon carry a trail boasting expansive and somewhat dizzying views. I've been across this, by the way, and it's high up when you're up there. It will connect cyclists and pedestrians to the north and south. The same trail will provide opportunities to commute to work. This is about recreation, but is about much more than recreation. This is about real transportation options for the people. So if you live in the north and you work at Boeing in Renton, you can ride your bike. If you work in the south and live in the south and you work at Google, you can ride your bike. And of course, every day you'll get to appreciate the view from the trestle. Links will also be created between the Eastside Rail Corridor and visionary redevelopment activities in the Wilburton business area and the Sound Transit Wilburton Station, and the transit-oriented development proposed near Northeast 12th. The draft master plan that we're releasing today also helps illustrate how we can address fundamental challenges that we know we face here. The steep slopes and narrow right-of-way in some places means that we must plan carefully and deliberately in locating different uses within the corridor. Many trail crossings of highways and arterials and even private driveways mean that we have to look foot by foot, reach by reach of this trail to make sure we're making the right decisions. And the cost of developing and maintaining the corridor have to be considered throughout the process. I encourage everyone with an interest in smart and sensible growth in Eastern King County to join together and review this plan with an eye toward getting the most value for all of our communities, and want to hear your ideas about how to move forward together on a final plan that will enhance our neighborhoods, enhance our region, and take full advantage of this remarkable and unique asset. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the council member from the 6th Council District, where much of this trail passes through, the former Mayor of Bellevue, King County Council Member Claudia Balducci.
Thank you. I just also want to recognize Deputy Mayor from Kirkland, Penny Sweet, has joined us here today. Welcome. I saw you walk up as we were starting. And it makes executives' remarks and Deputy Mayor's presence make me think about the connections that this project will create for all of us as we go forward. A few weeks ago, we had a summit of sorts around the Eastside Rail Corridor, and many of the people who are here today were there that Saturday. We spent the entire day inside the Maidenbauer Center on a sunny day, indoors with no windows, hearing from people who have done this sort of work in other parts of the country. And I think we were all inspired by Ryan Gravel, who was, as a graduate student, came up with the idea for the Atlanta Beltway. And he kept saying over and over to us that it's not just a trail, it's a way of life. And I think that's something that I want us to really think about as we move forward with this exciting next step and all of the steps that are coming to make the Eastside Rail Corridor into something more than a rail corridor, more than a trail, but a way of life. One way I've been thinking about this recently, it's going to be like a road without cars. And if you think about our goals for green infrastructure, for combating climate change, for helping people find ways to get to and from all the places they need to go out of traffic, for recreation, for health, this sort of development will make all of that very, very real and very, very possible in a way that we haven't seen here before. So I am incredibly excited. I want to ask us all to start thinking of this as more than just a trail. Think about all the ways that this incredible public resource can be used as we develop it, trail and transit, and all the different kinds of development that will happen alongside of it. Imagine this trail in the future, this corridor, passing not by parking lots and warehouses, but by more places like the Chainline Brewery, by the new REI store, by a new graduate program at the GIX at the Spring District. It's going to be a place that connects all kinds of people to all kinds of things. My commitment to you and my assurance to you is that I will do everything I can from the council side to follow in the footsteps of my predecessor and a great leader on this project, Councilmember Phillips, to move this as quickly as possible. We want to work with you, we want to hear from you, but we also want to get this trail open to the people so that we can all use it. So let's all join hands to make that happen. Thank you very much for coming out today, and I am pleased to introduce the current mayor of Bellevue, Mr. John Stokes.
And I'm very pleased to have introduced my good buddy, Claudia Balducci. And we've been working on this and talking about this for some time. It's great to be here. Good afternoon, and from the mayor of Bellevue, welcome to Bellevue. And by the way, welcome to my neighborhood. I just live a couple blocks, 3 blocks up here, and about a block and a half from the rail line up here. So the trail master plan being unveiled today is a major step in charting the future of the Eastside Rail Corridor. The Bellevue City Council is very, very excited about the possibility of a pedestrian and bicycle trail along the corridor, and we look forward to working with the county and with the broader community on the east side to make the trail a reality. We had a meeting with the Kirkland City Council and talking about their part of the trail. We've talked to Redmond about it. So we're all on the east side working together on this, and that's going to be great. The Wilburton Trestle here is one of Bellevue's most recognizable landmarks and will be the highlight of the Eastside Rail Corridor experience. I don't know how many of you rode the dinner train, and I rode it several times, and it is a fantastic view. And we're really glad to have this included in the whole piece. As I said, this is a gateway to my neighborhood, Woodridge, and also to, on the other side, to the Wilburton community on the other end of the trail. You know, when I first moved here, I was really excited to see this trestle. And it's one of the reasons we ended up moving here, because we came in '91 and saw this thing and I thought it was great, because I'm a railroad buff. And I really regretted no longer watching trains on this track. But the idea of seeing the trestle repurposed to serve walkers and bicyclists more than makes up for the loss. I'm absolutely thrilled at the prospect. I see as the corridor a great opportunity to add a regional north-south transportation link for pedestrians and bicyclists. For commuters, it will connect people to major job centers such as the downtown and the Belle Red Spring District area in Bellevue, as well as Kirkland to the north and Renton to the south. And actually, when you start extending out it to Redmond and all. For recreational uses, the trail creates a link to hundreds of acres of beautiful downtown city parks. It will also link us up with the Grand Connection, as Claudia mentioned. That goes from the Wilburton Bay, from the trestle, the Grand Connection from Wilburton across the freeway to City Hall, to the city park, all the way down to Maidenbower Bay. It's our Grand Connection. We're just starting working on this, and it's so great that it ties into this north-south corridor. And eventually, which is really also cool, is we go down to I-90 and the Mountain to Sound Greenway Trail down there also connects up. So just think of those possibilities. The draft master plan being unveiled today by King County is an important beacon as we chart a course for the corridor. Now, we have a long way to go to achieve the vision outlined in the master plan, but with King County, Bellevue, Kirkland, Redmond, other communities, and Renton working together, I know we will get there. The newly formed Eastside Greenway Alliance, which includes great organizations such as the Trust for Public Land and Cascade Bicycle Club, will help make that vision a reality. And it's really, again, neat that the iconic piece on their logo is this trestle. So thanks again for coming out today. Welcome again to Bellevue. Enjoy your stay and come back often. At this time, I'd like to turn the microphone over to Elizabeth Kiker, who's the Executive Director of the Cascade Bicycle Club.
It is such an honor to be here today. I actually have only lived in this region for 2.5 years. I came here from Washington, D.C., and one of the very first things that I remember, I swear it was in my first day, Matt Cohen, who here with his wife Kim, has been a longtime trail advocate in the region, and he asked me to come out, and I was, you're new in a job, you say yes to everything, and he brought me out on a day more like yesterday than today, rainy and cold and lovely, and we walked, not on the trestle because it's closed, but for a large part of this corridor on the rails, and he just kept saying, you've got to get this built. You have to start working on this. Are you going to start working on this? You have to do this. And then at the end he said, looking into my eyes, I'm holding you accountable for this. And I thought, my God, this is a big job. So fast forward 2.5 years, and Matt continues to hold the pressure and is joined by so many more fabulous people. We have a whole team of people. Paul Kuntz, the leader here of the Trust for Public Land, as well as a lot of other advocates, have joined us in saying this is a top priority. And you can tell even in King County. Well, that's amazing. Did you guys plan that? Wow. Look at that. They're testing that right now. We're going to go up there after this. Sorry. I was talking with, as Councilmember Balducci mentioned at the meeting a few weeks ago, the summit, we saw how many people care about this. It's so much bigger than Cascade Bicycle Club or Trust for Public Land or all of the organizations and people here today. There are so many that care, and what they care about, and this has been sort of our unofficial motto, Bill Finkbeiner and Michaela Dunphy and Courtney Landau and I have come up with, is we're actually not wanting this built for our children. We're wanting this built in time for us to use it. We want to be able to ride and walk and use this corridor. And so while we're so excited to see the progress, and I think all of us are amazed and excited at the progress that the cities and the counties and the owners along this corridor have made in the last 2 years, we are here to push harder and faster and more so that we can all do this. Next time we'll meet up there, and the time after we'll just ride it together. So that's what we're here for. I'm really excited to be a part of this, and thanks for being out here today and supporting this.